I've done stuff with industry groups and the government. The answer's there. We have this ridiculous ideal that taking a deposit secures the project. But, as a contractor, you're on small margins. You're there to do the entire job, finish the job. And that's when you earn your margin if you deliver it on time and on budget, and a good quality work. So I think we need to change the way we look at deposits, because that's where the complications are and the disasters are. We've got contractors that take deposits, yet there's no legislation around how the contractor can treat that deposit. So what you find is that contractors are living off deposits and paying for other failed projects with forward project deposits, and we give these contractors the ability to trade insolvent. We've got this massive issue of contractors trading insolvent, and yet we allow them to continue to trade insolvent by allowing them to take deposits. So by the contractors taking deposits, they can trade insolvent, and they can push it out and just create this massive disaster, instead of holding them accountable to being cash flow positive in the first place by saying, no, it is illegal to take a 50% deposit. You can only take 5%. But yet clients think it's industry standard. Contractors even think it's industry standard, but it's actually illegal. So what's the regulatory authorities doing? Nothing. It is a finable offence, but they don't fine people because people don't know, so they don't report them, and it's an absolute massive disaster. So that's the easiest thing to fix, is just secure the deposit, hold it in escrow until the work is done. The contractors can do the work with confidence, knowing that they're trading within the legislation, but also the money exists. I would rather know that the money exists, because once you go past the deposit, so let's look at the cash flow. So I take a deposit from you within the legislation, 5%. I'm starting your job in a few weeks. I commit to materials, lock in trades, doing work myself, paying insurances and approvals, blah, blah, blah. I then start work on site. Most projects in the residential world would be at least probably on their first progress claim 15 to 20%, and you're only taking 5%. So once you've committed to all those expenditures in the first progress claim, you completely lost any advantage. So why even take a deposit? Because there's a good chance nothing's going to happen in the first deposit taking progress claim, up to the first progress claim. There's very small chance of having a dispute with your client. So, but once you do that first progress claim, you're now completely on arrears. You're on account. So the contractor has no financial advantage and has no security that he will get paid. So contractors go, get a deposit. Right, you get a deposit. Within the first week of you starting a job, you've lost the advantage of that deposit. You're now on account. So example is, say it's 4 weeks for your first progress claim. It's your first progress claim's 20%. You take a 5% deposit. You've only, technically, if you divided it by that 4 weeks, you've only secured your cash flow for that first week. Then the next 3 weeks, you're actually on account until you get paid that first progress claim. So there's no advantage. The client has the risk that they pay a deposit and the contractor just walks off with their money. But then the contractor's at risk of not getting paid all of his progress claims to the end. That's why I say, what's the hardest payment to get? The first one or the last one? It's always the last one for the contractor, because when the project is finished, the client has their project and the contractor hasn't been paid. So that's where they're at risk. So what we want to do is we want to make it fair for everyone. We want to give the client the security to know that they pay their deposit, they're not going to lose it, which we've been seeing a heap. Massive insolvencies. We're seeing people paying deposits and literally hours later the administrators walking in and taking over the company and they've lost their deposit. It's criminal. People should be locked up for that. But then we're also seeing clients not paying their progress claims, not paying their final claims. So if we take that deposit and we put that deposit for the last payment, so this is where WITSA has the flexibility. So I used to say to my clients, don't give me a deposit, but put your money in the trust account. Clients will go, wow, I can trust this guy. He doesn't want my money. They put their money in the trust account. As I do the work and I invoice them for the progress claims as per the contract, as per the payment schedule, we then do a drawdown. I know that at any stage during the project, if we do have a dispute and if we can't sort it out amicably ourselves and we go off to QCAT or Magistrates Court, I know that I have the confidence that the money exists. There's so many contractors that have gone to QCAT, taken their clients to court, they've won, but there's no money. No money. But they also, the client has that security to know that the contractor doesn't get paid until the work is done, which is the legislation. So WITSA is literally giving confidence to all parties in the contract so that there is trust in the project. When you do that, there's also the psychological advantages which we need to touch on, because the contractor's not worried about being ripped off. Or if there is a genuine dispute, we know that there can be a direction and the money goes to the right party. The client then gets their back up because they're frustrated that they believe the contractor's not listening to them. And it's completely over nothing.